Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a midweek update for the week of 21st of August 2023. Let's recap what happened already and what is most likely to happen coming into the next few days. So we started off on Monday, right, with the DXY running these highs with SMT, and then I outlined this fair value gap as a key level for order flow, right? If we respect this key level over here, it's most likely to trade lower, right? So with London starting, we traded up into this fair value gap here, and I outlined. You can check back in the Telegram. I will pop it up in a second. If we trade up here, we're most likely to head lower and lower, and I was aiming for the daily fair value gap down here. But eventually we found a low on this order block, and then price action was around here, and I updated once again. If we violate this fair value gap, it's most likely going to be a New York reversal, right? So we saw that reaccumulation in this first fair value gap, and it kept going up and up until we took out this buy side liquidity, right? So very good read at the start of the week. Right now, let me pull up the economic calendar for you, so we can see the economic calendar. We've got a lot of news. We have PMI for the euro. We have PMI for the pound, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's later at 4:30 a.m. EST. And then we also have PMI during New York session at 9:45 a.m. So there's a lot of news today. Should be a lot of movement. However, if previous day was a large range day, I try to avoid a London session, and I have some obligations during New York session, so I won't be trading today further. But we're still gonna see what is most likely to happen, right? So this fair value gap here for me is a key level right now. The only thing I don't like is that the equilibrium level is in the lower part of this fair value gap. However, I feel like we should respect this fair value gap and continue bullish if we are bullish. Why are we not trading below this? This has already been rebalanced, right? So there's no reason why we should trade lower than this. If we do, it's probably going to go for these lows and into the daily fair value gap, in my opinion. So that's my validation for how price action should behave. If we go to the daily time frame, and let me remove everything here, you can also see this bearish candle has formed on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, on Monday. So this is for me a bullish order block, so I don't want to see it trade past the body. The C is the midway point of this body, and it's around equilibrium 2 of the dealing range we're currently in, right? So I outlined it here also. This is the CE of that body. We can dive a little bit deeper because the equilibrium is lower of the dealing range, so we might dip in lower, but I want to see the bodies respect this fair value gap and then continue up, which could be a classic buy day. So we have a manipulation during London and then expansion afterwards. Um, Not too many standard deviations of Asia range lower, so one standard deviation is enough for a classic buy day. Now, what confirms my let's go to the Telegram first. Let's see. So over here we've got the Telegram, right? This one from the market outlook this week. Then I posted this in the Discord, right? This is the fair value gap I told you about. If we had that key level up here, and then it started to respect it, and over here we can see that chart. It was the key level, right? So everything is updated in the Telegram, and then over here, this is the fair value gap I talked about. If we disrespect this, we're gonna have a New York session reversal, as you can see here. Um, New York session reversal. So if you missed the live session, live stream, make sure to follow them. We're gonna go live tomorrow again, and then this is what happened eventually, right? We reversed, and today I updated too what we're talking about right now. So let's go back to the chart. Let's go to Euro USD, inversely correlated, right? Um, we've got this breaker over here on the 1 hour. I like to see this breaker get hit, and then we drop into sell side liquidity. I like to see this get taken because these are relative equal lows, and it just stopped before that low got taken out. So I'm still bearish on EU, which makes my bias for DXY stick a little bit better to go bullish, right? So this is nicely correlated, and I want to see this go into the breaker and then go into sell side liquidity. Let's go to GBP USD. I would avoid this pair. Honestly, it's very choppy right now, and the reason is because Euro GBP is bearish. So that means the pound has more strength on the euro, and when DXY trades up higher, it's better not to sell GBP USD when the dollar is going up. So you can better focus on Euro USD, right? So that's why this chop is happening. Even though DXY is trading up, right? We're still chopping around, and that's because of Euro GBP. I still believe this high could stay intact and should, um, as we are back into the daily order block, but I won't touch this currency. And we can see this one. I will only look at the daily time frame because I don't want to trade intraday. We had outlined this daily fair value gap at the start of the week. Go back to the market outlook, right? We hit this fair value gap and lower prices should come in, and we're almost at sell side liquidity. I still expect today to trade lower, which means the pound should have more strength and euro should be weaker in that occasion. Let's go to let's go to ES, right? Outlined at the start of the week, draw on liquidity is inside this fair value gap, and we could potentially have high of the week over here. Now, if I go to Nasdaq, we have some clean lows down here. So I still like the scenario of going bearish on this asset. We have a fair value gap. Let me remove this. This is an order block, right? And then we have this fair value gap up here too, an inefficiency which we could fill in. And I want to see price action find a high here and then continue down lower into these lows. So we could have form a market maker sell model. Go to the 15. This is a little bit messy, but we could see this as original consolidation, and I want to see a smart money reversal in this area, which should also be in premium, because if we take our FIB and mark out the range we're trading in, this is lining up in the sweet spot, right? So the midway point of this fair value gap looks very good for a reversal. So let's see how that forms. Always wait for confirmation on the lower time frame, right? And if you're very confident, obviously you can do as you please. But Nasdaq looks pretty good. We also have that same fair value gap here, sell side liquidity, and if we go to the 5 minute, there are actually buy stops here. So you could pair up your sell order with buy stops, right? I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not a signal, but do as you please and do your own due diligence, right? So let's go to gold. I took a gold sell yesterday, pretty large runner. Let's break it down. We've got this original consolidation. That's what the day started off with, right? I was already eyeing up this sell. Now, selling in a range can be quite tough, right? So if it went down from here, I would not take a sell because we did not take any sort of buy side liquidity. Now we did a 4-hour rate over here. We took this buy side liquidity, right? So let's go to the 5, back into this area, right? So this is the 4-hour rate. We started to respect this fair value gap up here, right? And at the time it was about here, I think, yeah. So this was my point of view at this time. Break of structure happened, right? We had that rate. We are disrespecting that bullish fair value gap. So I went in with a short, I think around here, and I put my stop loss, if I remember correctly, around here. And then I aimed for these lows, right? So pretty good RR, around 1 to 4.5 or 5. So this was my entry, and then let me remove everything here. I sat in accumulation for more than an hour, I think, so it was pretty horrible. Yeah, it was like 1.5 hours before we started to drop, and eventually when New York session opened, we ran up one more time into this fair value gap, and then we declined, right? And at this point, I was live streaming too, around here, when it started to drop, and we tape read this all the way down, right? So gold being gold, this can happen, right? But I was still confident it should drop, so I held on to the trade. That 5 minute fair value gap got disrespected, but we were still focusing on the higher time frame. So eventually the stream took place, and we read every order block down, every OTE, and it was just very beautiful to see how price action respected every order block, going down, 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 down until we reached that red line, which is the sell side liquidity, right? And then it reversed, so that was a good target too. So to break it down shortly, right? Identify your market maker model over here. Did we rate buy side liquidity? Yes, we did. Did we have a break of structure? Yes, we did. Did we disrespect a bullish array? Yes, we did. Did we respect a bearish array? Yes, we did. And then we formed another bearish array, and then I went in on that one. But don't put your stop loss too tight, especially with gold. So I'd put it above the inverse fair value gap, right? That bullish gap over here, which should not get violated. And then we dropped. So that was the breakdown for gold. Yeah, that's about it. Let's see what happens today. And if you like the video, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it to your friends, right? And I hope you guys have a good trading day, and we'll see you tomorrow in a new live stream at 8:30 a.m. EST. And yeah, we'll see you then.